I'm Kayla, the BookTube Turtle, and today I'm doing 3 tags in one video. So over the past couple of months, I've been tagged in so many things, and instead of doing one separate video for each tag and it take up multiple weeks where I could be posting something else, I'm going to be doing 3 of those tags in today's video. So the first tag I'm going to be doing is the pronunciation tag. I was tagged by Megan from A Court of Reading, and she's also the creator of this tag, so I will link her channel and video below. I don't know about you guys, but I mispronounce things all the time. When I'm reading it in my head, I either just skim over the word or I kind of make up a word. But then when you actually say it out loud and then you realize how wrong you are. That's happened so much more since finding BookTube and actually being on BookTube, because I actually have to say the things and then I'm like, is that actually how you pronounce it? I don't know. Question 1 is to name a place or character that always leaves you tongue-tied. So for this one I'm gonna do some places because most of my other answers are names. But pretty much all of the places in the Throne of Glass series and the ACOTAR series, I don't know how to say any of them. There's Perinth? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how it's spelled. It's the entire continent thing, and I'm just that's what it is. My brain just skips over that. Oh, and then apparently it's pronounced Adarlan, I think, with the way it's spelled. I've always read it as Ardalin, and that's wrong. But question 2 is a character or place that you wouldn't be able to spell without checking twice. Honestly, it's probably gonna be, I don't have a specific answer, but just a lot of fantasy things because they're spelled really weird and letters are swapped out for other letters to make the name look more fantasy, and so I never know how to spell anything. Question 3 is a character that took you most of the book to figure out how to pronounce their name. Okay, this took me 2 books. Matthias from the Six of Crows duology. I didn't realize until after I was done with the second book. I finished both of them and I was watching the Booksplosion live show where they were talking about it, and I realized it was pronounced Matthias. I've been saying Matthias this entire time. Oh my gosh. Question 4 is pick a name that while reading you either made up a name or skimmed it completely in pure frustration. Okay, so one that I came up with a new name, it wasn't that I came up with a new name, I just had always read it wrong. And that is Sirius Black from Harry Potter. The entire time I read the series, I was pronouncing it Cyrus. The entire time. And then I watched the movies and I was like, what? I mean, even after that, I still, I was like, no, I'm not pronouncing it like that. I do now, because my mind is just converted. I did that with 4 too, and Divergent. I was pronouncing it Tobias until the movie came out, and it was Tobias, and I was like, and then for skimming a name, for the longest time, I skimmed the last part of Selena's name, Ash River Galathinius. I skimmed the last 2 because I was like, I can't even handle this. But then I was like, okay, I need to figure out what this is, so I actually know. So I know now, but at the beginning that's what I did. Question 5. A name that on first looking at it filled you with dread. Okay, Feyre from ACOTAR, because it's just the way it's spelled. I remember looking at it and being like, what is that? I never pronounced it wrong though, because I had heard it pronounced before I started reading it, but still looking at it I was just like, what is this? Fair. Question 6 is a character or place that you came up with a pronunciation and totally just went with it. So for this I'm going with Rhysand from ACOTAR. I've been using ACOTAR a lot, and Throne of Glass. Anyway, I pronounce it Rhysand because that was the first way I heard it pronounced from Christine, and it stuck in my head that way. So when I found out it wasn't pronounced that way, I couldn't change over like I have with other names. It's just, to me it flows better that way, so I just call him Rhysand. And then when it's abbreviated, then I say Reese, which those don't line up, but whatever. Question 7. A Bane of Existence character last name that made you want to throw the book at the wall. Okay, this didn't really, like, frustrate me, I guess, because it was more, like, I just skipped over it. Last names are also really confusing. Nehemiah from Throne of Glass, her whole name confused me. When I first saw it, I was pronouncing it Nehemia. I don't even know how to say her last name. It's, like, Yetker. Yitker. Is the Y silent? I don't know. And finally, question 8. A character's name you would gladly change for a bit of pronunciation piece. Okay, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce this. Kuwai from Six of Crows. I never read his name. I just skipped over it every single time for both of the books until I actually heard it pronounced, and I was like, oh, okay. When you look at it, it's really not that difficult. Just for some reason in my head, I just couldn't handle it. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this tag. I'm going to move on to the Guilty Reader tag. I was also tagged by Megan from Reporter Reading to do this tag, so I will also link that video and the original creators video in the description. So this tag is basically about all of the things that readers do that we should feel guilty about. Even though, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't done most of these things, so I don't know how interesting this tag is gonna be. We'll see where it goes. Question 1. Have you ever regifted a book that has been given to you? No. I don't think I've ever gifted a book at all. Like, I don't know. My friends don't read. So, and they've never given me a book either. Well, except for one. I did get Crooked Kingdom for my birthday, but like, I would never regift that because it was amazing. Anyway, listen, even if if I buy a physical book, like I make sure ahead of time that I'm 99% sure I'm going to enjoy it, because I have a limited amount of space to keep my books and money, so, you know, I usually just go to the library, and then, you know, you take it back when you're done. Question 2. Have you ever said you've read a book when you haven't? No. There's multiple of these types of questions in there, and, like, I don't really understand why you would lie about reading a book or not reading a book, or liking or not liking a book, because, like, who cares? So no, I don't think I've ever said I've read a book when I actually haven't, because then it's like, what if they start talking about the book and like asking you things about it and like you don't know anything? Question 3. Have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? I don't borrow books from people. I don't have people to borrow books from anyway, because my friends don't read. Like library borrowing, I'm very on top of, because if you're late with that, then you gotta pay money, and no. Question 4. Have you ever read a series out of order? I have done this. There was like this children's series I read back in like 3rd or 4th grade. This was years ago. And it was something about like these long lost twin sisters, and one of them turned out to be like a vampire or something. I don't know. There were 4 books, and I read the 3rd one first because I didn't know that there was like a specific order. Question 5. Have you ever spoiled a book for someone? Unfortunately, yes. So back in my freshman year of high school, you know, this was the time where I was like reading Harry Potter on a loop. I was just starting to come out of that, and I started branching out, and I started with the Divergent series. And now all of you probably know where this is going. So technically, I didn't straight up say like this happens, but my friend was reading the series at the same time that I was. And after finishing the 3rd book, I went into school the next day, and I was like really upset because I was devastated by the ending. Like, I was traumatized by that ending. You know, I'm not gonna say anything here in case there is somebody out there who like hasn't read it and somehow not managed to get spoiled yet, because there were spoilers for this everywhere. But I told her that the ending was devastating and I was so upset and everything, and she was like, and I answered her. So I feel like I kind of did spoil because I was acting in a way that like that was the only conclusion that probably could have been drawn from that. And then like I answered her, and I should have just been like, I'm not gonna tell you. Question 6. Have you ever doggy-eared a book? I'm sure I have, like back in the elementary school years when like that was okay, I guess. I don't now, because I try to take very good care of my books. Question 7. Have you ever told someone you don't own a book when you do? No, this is kind of similar to the other question. I mean, why does it matter if you own the book or not? Why would you lie about it? Question 8. Have you ever told someone you haven't read a book when you have? Again, no. Question 9. Have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of a book? Yes. I will tend to like skim over parts of books with like really long descriptions so I can get to like the interesting stuff and the action and everything, the more fast-paced things. I also have this habit of checking page numbers, so like I'll like flip through and be like, how many pages till I get to the next chapter? How many pages are in the book? And sometimes it's okay, but then sometimes you see things that you shouldn't be seeing yet. And finally, question 10, have you ever badmouthed the book you actually liked? I'm sure I have, like not in the sense where I'm like hating on a book that I actually like, but because it's like the popular opinion is that the book was bad or something that like I just kind of go with it. Like not in that sense, but like there's something about the book that upset me that even though I love it, I'm just like hating on that aspect because I'm just like ranting about it kind of way. Anyway, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that tag. And now I'm going to move on to the third and final tag, which is the fantasy bucket list tag. So for this tag, I was tagged by Vanessa from A World of Words. I will link her video below. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It was so creative. I will also link the creator's video below. So before I actually jump into it, I just want to say most of these, I have more than one answer. It's just kind of like a whole list because like there's so many things I would like to do. Question 1 is a fictional world you would like to tour. Harry Potter world, obviously. I mean, the world is so expansive. There's so many things you could go tour. I mean, I could be there for like an entire year and still probably not see everything. There's Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, the Ministry of Magic, the other schools, the Burrow, Grimmauld Place, Diagon Alley. There's so many things to go see that it would be so great. So great. Question 2 is a specific place that you would like to visit. So besides all the Harry Potter places I just listed off, it'd be really cool to visit the London Institute from the Infernal Devices. I think that one's my favorite out of the 3 institutes. And you know, if Jem, Will, and Tessa are there, even better. Oh, also the Night Court, like specifically Valeris that's in the Night Court. If you've read it, you know, it's like the place, their little secret place with the Rainbow Road and all of that, because it's just really beautiful and it would be really cool to go there. Question 3 is a character you would like to meet. Here's where we get into the lists. So we've got Harry Potter characters. There's too many to like go off. I mean, obviously like Harry, Ron, Hermione. With Throne of Glass, there's Selena and Rowan and Dorian. And oh my gosh, Fleetfoot. I would love to meet Fleetfoot. Just play with their dog. From the Shadowhunter books, Emma Carstairs, Kit, all of the Blackthorn children, Simon Lewis, Isabel Lightwood. There's so many people. Percy Jackson, Annabeth, Leo, Nico. Oh my gosh, Nico is my favorite character. And like, they're really their whole little group, like their group of 7 plus Nico. I would just want to hang out with all of them. Oh my gosh. And then there's Feyre and Rysand and their whole group and Lucian. Question 4, an event you would like to witness. Okay, this one was a little bit difficult because I don't know, I kind of took it as an event where like I would be like a bystander, and a lot of my favorite scenes are like between a small group of characters, like 2 characters, something like that. But I did think it would be really cool to see the sorting ceremony in Harry Potter, like actually watch that take place. And then Mild Queen of Shadow spoilers, if you haven't read that, you might want to mute until this goes away. But towards the end of the book, when Aelin and Dorian shatter the glass castle, like that had to look so cool, and it was such a, like an important moment in the series because it was the turning point. Like that was when they overthrew the king and they learned more about the whole thing with like the Valg, and just shattering the glass castle was kind of like symbolizing this turning point. And I just feel like it would have been so cool to actually see that. Question 5, a sport or activity you would like to try. Quidditch, duh. I feel that's the only thing I can come up with. I'm not a sporty person, and like I don't know what sports are in books that aren't like normal sports we have now. But yeah, I would like to try Quidditch. I probably wouldn't be good at it, but like I could try it out. Question 6, a weapon you would like to wield. Riptide from Percy Jackson, because who doesn't want to uncap a pin and have it turn into a cool sword that you kill monsters with and like normal people can't see it. Question 7. An item you would like to use. The wands from Harry Potter. The steles from the Shadowhunter books, because, you know, who doesn't want to draw cool runes that do things? I just have to say, when I was reading over these questions, those things popped in my head first, and then for some reason the word keys from Throne of Glass popped into my head, and I was just like, no, no, those are bad, okay? Word keys, bad. I do not want to use those. But thanks again to Megan and Vanessa for tagging me. I'm going to tag Vanessa for the first 2 videos and Megan for the last video. And I'm also going to tag Deborah from Little White Bookshelf and Steph from Little Bookberry. If you haven't done any of these tags and you would like to, you can go ahead and consider yourself tagged. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!